What is good? What is good? It is New Year's Eve 2025. And holy cow, has this year been a pretty good year. I don't want to brag or anything, but I feel like uh, there has been a shift in the direction of my life. Instead of feeling like I'm spiraling downward, I feel like I've stopped the downward trajectory and I've actually begun to move up a little bit. I've made progress in life. I feel so blessed and I'm so thankful. And something that I've been wanting to do is to just kind of go back to look at the beginning of my channel, to look at my development, to just see how cringy I used to be and still am. I'm lucky to be dog sitting tonight, so I've got a place to stay. I'm going to be hanging out with these pups while I do some taste testing. I got this bottle of whiskey from a client, somebody whose house we worked on. We totally remodeled it. This was a thank you present. Woodford Reserve double oaked. Yeah, it looks really delicious. So I'm going to be sipping on some of this. I don't drink a lot, and I probably won't drink a lot of it straight, but I got a little bit of ice to start with. I'll taste test it, see how it goes. And then I have some gingerberry kombucha I'm going to mix with it because uh, bourbon and ginger ale is really delicious. I didn't want to get ginger ale. Anyways, I saw somebody hop on. Looks like they hopped off. I'm a boring person. And I don't really know how to do the streaming thing because in moments like this, where there's downtime, where I'm not really talking about, I'm not made to be a streamer, but here I am. So bear with me as I open this because I literally haven't even opened this yet. Haven't even smelled it. I'm going to set the mic down for a minute. Okay. Oh, that's a cool sound. Okay. Okay. Very strong. Very strong. That was I don't know, probably a pretty good pour. Okay. I don't know what the rules are if I'm allowed to do this on YouTube. This is apple juice. Okay, so the ice, I think cuts it a little bit, but overall, it's got that bite that, a whiskey or a bourbon would have, but it's not too fierce because sometimes alcohol like Jack Daniels, I won't drink Jack Daniels. But this isn't bad. It's a bourbon whiskey, Kentucky Straight. I would, it's delicious. I'm thankful, but I'd rather just have like a McClellan 12, I think, or an 18 if you're gonna spoil me. So now I'm gonna ruin this by mixing it. But you know what? I'm an unorthodox person. Ooh, and this could be really fucking delicious. Could be really fucking gross. All right, it's going to get me a little buzz tonight. Let's get into it. This is my YouTube channel, Heavyweights Light Feels. And, I don't do any merchandise with this logo anymore. I might do, another run. But 10, 15 years ago, I was really big into bodybuilding and really big into powerlifting. oh man, I fucking loved that shit. And this was at the beginning of sort of my spiritual journey, my spiritual awakening. And so I used to call myself, and I still am. Hello, who just joined? I used to call myself a meathead hippie, and I loved that because the more you go down the road of the yin and the yang, or just the nature of reality, how there's the polarity, the principle of polarity. I saw meatheads and hippies as almost being on totally different ends of the spectrum, but there's actually a really cool way to weave the two together, in my opinion. If you go to my channel and you watch, I upload YouTube shorts sometimes. I like doing like I uploaded one of me moving a massive fucking beam all by myself, and that was a lot of fun. It was a way where I was like building and constructing, working, but also being a bit of a meathead. And so I've got long hair and a oh, you can probably see. Uh, but yeah, so meathead hippie. That was sort of the inspiration for this logo. To be honest, this character is way too jacked. I like the symmetry and the proportions, but maybe just a little too big. But I used to be big. I'm still pretty big. But anyways. And so I was really interested in bodybuilding and powerlifting, and I wanted I've always wanted to help people. I've always just been the type to run towards danger, quite literally. I'll tell that story later. But so I wanted to combine my passions with an opportunity to help people. And I think I'm still going to do that in the future. But yeah, let's just scroll down a little bit. Let's get to it. So for videos, the very, very first video I ever posted was what I call my favorite arm bang superset finisher. This was me 6 years ago. Look, before I had long hair. That's wild, isn't it? Okay. Still had a beard, but oh my gosh, there's no gray in that beard. Oh my gosh. This was, I wasn't in bad shape. I'm a little chunky right now, but that's fine. I call it, a blue collar build. I very much have a blue collar build. So yeah, you do the overhead extensions and then a superset when you do two exercises sort of back to back. And then yeah, some bicep curls. I believe this is what they would maybe call reverse grip. Damn, dude. I used to be in decent shape. But anyways, okay. So that's enough of that. Okay, back to this. Oh, there we go. Maybe we do something like this. Okay, and then so that was 6 years ago. And then oh, that's probably me with ugly form. Ah, okay. We're gonna need to figure out okay, yeah. And so actually, yeah. Just yeah, it's awful form. I acknowledge that. Let's just all judge my form. First one wasn't bad. Second one's still okay. But then bam, start look at my knees. Look at how the knees just start caving. Oh, I believe that's a valgus knee. It's when your glutes don't have enough strength to transfer force to the outer parts, like through your IT bands to your knees and everything. So the knees cave in, and you start using your groin muscles and your like VMOs, the in part of the knee instead of your hips. But, respect for still pushing. I think what, 405 by 10? I probably couldn't even do that once right now. I'm gonna have to figure out another. I might, because I don't have to keep having to do this. Like oldest. See, come on now, YouTube, get your shit. There we go. We'll figure something out. Okay, and so 5 years ago, when I started reading Buckminster Fuller, he's a really cool character. I would recommend you read some of his work, Operating Manual for Spaceship Earth. This was at the beginning of my spiritual journey. I would say maybe not the beginning, but this is, you know, when I was 20% of the way. Not to say that you're ever going to get 100% there, but so Bucky really inspired me when I was trying to compartmentalize and integrate the evolution of technology with culture and sociology and humanity. And he, he made me believe that there is a way. I would say he is probably much more of a socialist than I am. I identify as much as you can as an anarchist. Bucky probably would have been a socialist. That's just my guess. But whoever just joined, hello. And then the Tao Te Ching. Oh my gosh, that is like in my top 5 favorite books of all time. And it's not even that big. It's not even that. I don't want to say it's not that difficult to read, because it's extraordinarily difficult to read. You have to read it like 1,000 times before you can really say that you understand any of it. I would recommend you check it out. Is there still? It says someone's here. Drop a comment. Let me know who's viewing live. So 5 years ago, I was living in a friend's mother-in-law. So this unit I'm living in, it was a mother-in-law, and it was like not finished. There was exposed studs and electrical wires, but I didn't care. I still wouldn't care. I was just thankful to have a spot that wasn't my van for a while. But unfortunately, that did not work out long term. This particular friend, he is very religious, and he and I love him, but anyway, so I wasn't able to live there for too long, but I had it for a time, and I'm thankful for that. And then what was your call to action, call to adventure? I've probably made that video 3 or 4 times, to be honest, with a very similar title. We'll see. And so a snowflake that likes the sound of their own voice. Yes. It's not, I've actually, no, I would say I'm indifferent. I don't do this because, anyways, progressive by the name of Cody. You'll see him on the channel. Just really, that was back in the day. This was this COVID? I think this was, this was during the pandemic. I was early speaking up and speaking out, saying this is wrong, blah, blah, blah. And instead of engaging in discourse, people just said a lot of mean names and mean things to each other. And so I was accused of being a snowflake that likes the sound of my own voice, because I don't remember if I maybe just blocked him or deleted his comments or something, because I hope you're well, Brothers Blue. But 5 years ago, man, you were not nice to me. Wow. It's really very quite surreal to imagine that the pandemic was over 5 years ago, that it had like started. It still affects people. I live in Seattle, Washington, and people still fucking wear masks in their cars alone. Okay, anyways, This is a good thing. Random reading, man's search for meaning. Now, there is a rabbit hole that eventually I will go down that makes me question this book, but I'm not going to go there yet. It's a good book. I suggest reading it. I really like sort of one of the central themes that Frankel put forward, and that was that suffering is unique to people, and it's not something that can be measured, comparing my suffering to your suffering. It should be looked at as something that just consumes the vehicle that it is in. So your body, your mind, your soul, suffering, whether it be mild or significant, it just expands like a gas and takes over your entire being. And so suffering sucks, but you can overcome, and if you have meaning, you can endure quite a bit. And I feel like that book really drove me to question what I valued in life and where I derived meaning and purpose. Because prior to that, I thought I was a virtuous, chivalrous guy, but I was not. It was very superficial. And so, most people, and it's so cliche, I acknowledge it is so cliche saying, my spiritual journey. But I think I'm very thankful that my spiritual journey exposed me to how shallow and fake I used to be. And it's a struggle every day. I'm still, I still make judgments and I'm still an asshole a lot, but I've progressed. That's the point. Okay. Uh, okay. Hello, whoever just joined. Drop a comment. Let me know who you are. Unless it's one of the brothers blue, and then that would be funny. I hope you're having a good New Year's. I hope 2026 is a great year for you because it's going to be a great year for me. Speaking of daily affirmations and reminders, oh, this is a good one, though. This is a good one. Let's watch it. To drop in. What's good? I just wanted to drop in and provide you with some daily affirmations and reminders. Times are crazy. And now more than ever, we need to remember you are loved. You are appreciated. You are valued. And please remember, Epstein did not kill himself. Thank you. Oh, man, that was funny the way that worked out. That I was just talking about, like, I hope the brothers blue have a good 2026 because I am manifesting a good 2026 for me. And then, yeah, also remember Eastine definitely did not take himself out. I hope I just didn't screw myself up in the algorithm. You're not supposed to say those words. That's another thing that I wanted to do. Another objective with this video is, if anybody's lonely, it gives me something to do and it gives them someone to interact with. But I'm checking my channel for videos that I need to censor, maybe in the event that I ever am eligible for monetization. I want to pursue it. I want to try it. I'm almost at 400 subscribers. I can't believe it. I mean, I can somewhat because it's not a milestone at all, but I didn't think I would ever get over 400 subscribers. And so if I can get to 500 and if I can get the watch hours and if I could get monetized, I acknowledge that I would be self-censoring, but my method would be to use code words as much as possible. So still getting the content out, but just using code words because, we got to speak up. So anyways, okay. So I want to look through my videos because I know there's a few that I'm going to have to, censor. Are humans social creatures? Whatever. Sometimes I just put out random shit. Oh, this was me reading some Carl Jung, and the timing was quite perfect, religion as the counterbalance to mass mindedness because we were going through what do they call that, mass hysteria or whatever. We were going through mass mindedness, and we still are, unfortunately, very much. The culture wars have very successfully captivated a large portion of the population's soul. They invest so much of their energy in these issues, and it is all by design, and it is so very unfortunate. Oh, okay. So I don't want to be this angry, part three. I think maybe yeah. So there should be a part one and a part two. They might be under my live streams because I did some. Oh my gosh, this is a whole other part of the channel, the live streams. So some of them are uploaded. That's one issue with YouTube is, having them all. I just want an absolute chronological. I don't want to have to filter and sort by lives and shorts and videos. But while we're here, um, before I was living in that friend's mother-in-law with the wiring and stuff, I was living in a Ford Transit van. So, like, one of my first actual videos that wasn't just a lifting re-upload. What the heck am I doing? Wow.
What's good? What's good? I am Big Daddy Drew, and this is the Vancast.
So cringe.
Nah, that's too scripted. I don't know. I'm just testing this microphone and this camera and the lighting. Definitely gonna need to work on that. However, yeah, okay. The goal is to. Yeah, I have a dog that's in the van with me. This is his stuffy, not mine. Not gonna lie though, I snuggle it at night sometimes. I want to get shit off my chest. I feel like I'm not heard, even though people listen to me. Hey, bud. Hi. I feel like people don't actually hear me. And so I'm kind of, in a way, seeking a community of individuals that actually hear what I'm trying to say. If I get 0 views, but a little catharsis, then it will be worth it. Good boy. Yeah. Want some more breakfast? Want some more? Oh, okay. Oh, handsome man. All right. I'm going to get him some more breakfast. Thank you very much.
Oh man. I can confirm that I have not gotten very many views, but I have gotten a lot of catharsis over the last 5 years. And so even though I didn't get the views, I did get the catharsis. And 5 years later, I can confirm I'm pretty freaking happy with it. It's that was a trip. That was a trip watching myself from 5 years ago. And like I was in a really rough spot. And to see that I was able to stay true to what I was seeking to do. That was surreal. Okay. Oh, and then what does it mean to speak truth to power? Blah, blah. Food, fire, shelter, water. Just a rant on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yeah, so this was the very first one. I don't want to be this angry. Part one of X, because I knew that there was going to be multiple parts. And look, there's the part two. And then here's me just being a freaking goober, fractal exploitation. I really felt taken advantage of in a lot of ways at that point in my life. And that was a theme that I just had to forgive and forget. Oh, 7 reasons I believe Trump wins easy reelection. Man, I don't give a shit about that stuff anymore. But for a long time, I was so attached to politics. Man, they're so good at pulling you in. Okay, so lives. Now this is when I was living in that mother-in-law. More Dao De Jing. Okay, so this is 3 years ago. Let's go back to this tab. I see people randomly tuning in and out. It would be really cool if anyone tunes in, just say hey. Give me a hello in the comments right here. Right here. Yep. Okay. Show. Look, see? Someone, please let me know you're here. Okay. So back to just trying to do this somewhat chronologically. 5 years ago, some Jung. Oh man, 5 years ago, your dear white people posts are not helping. If you don't see that there is a manufactured culture war at this point, I just am going to bid you a good day and move on. And you know what? Even those who do see it, okay, yes, we see it, but we need to not let it bug us and frustrate us. And we need to, in my opinion, sort of passively resist. And when I say passively resist, I think of, integrating little acts of rebellion and resistance and unity connection into everyday life. Just make it a common practice to try to do that. Excuse me. Because, this was when, just virtue signaling was, I wouldn't even say that was when virtue signaling was at its peak. I'd say 2022, 2023. Let's see what the channel shows. The easy way to make Medicare for all affordable. So I actually don't support Medicare for all, but the point of that video was just to say America's fat, because it is. Man, we are so freaking obese. It's weird. We're this fantastic country that has so many fucking problems. Are we actually a fantastic country? No, we're not. We have the potential to be, and there are fantastic people here, but nation states are awful. We need to move away from them. This whiskey's good. Mixing it with the ginger berry kombucha. I need to not drink too much because I have to work tomorrow. But, okay. Thoughts on white privilege. I used to let that shit bother me. Not anymore. Jung, always good to read Jung. This video, if you feel lost, you are not alone. I've probably made that video a few different times. We'll see over the years. But I felt really lost during the pandemic. It was my lack of ability to find words, even at this moment. It should be indicative of how intense it actually was. I'm generally not lacking for words, but seeing so many people become bootlickers and supporters of the state and of tyranny. I had one friend call me a fucking piece of shit because I didn't want to get an experimental jab that I can't say we all knew was going to be a bioweapon, but many of us knew it was going to be a bioweapon, and many of us tried to warn you. And it really sucks because anytime I hear about like young people getting really rare and random fucking cancers and diseases and people I love experiencing medical episodes that are just not in line with their health history and their I still don't think we've seen the full effects. Apparently there's a massive flu going around, a lot of people getting sick or whatever, but it's like I bet you most of those people are ones who got that experimental medicine, we'll call it. People are now saying, "Oh, it's just a really bad flu year." It's like, no, it's not. You fucked up your immune system. That's what you did. Okay, sorry, I'm getting a little. Okay. Black Elk Speaks, another good book. I'd recommend you checking it out. Okay, so we're still on 5 years ago. Bring on the gulags. I was ready to go to prison. I am still a martyr, even though I talk about growth and forgiveness, and there's still a little bit of that in me. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. I don't have a mouse. That would help. But okay. Capitalism versus communism, the root of the culture, class, race war, they're all kind of connected. I don't even know if words mean anything anymore. If capitalism means anything, if communism means anything, it's all just this ruling class using law. I actually had this conversation with a customer at my retail job the other day. We're a society ran by lawyers. What is that? Like a litocracy? Like litigation, litigocracy. I don't know. But now we're starting to sound antiseptic. I flirt with that group, but I'm not part of them. I flirt with all groups though, because all groups deserve to be heard. Because how else are you going to disinfect something without sunshine? We should bring to light everything, and everyone should just be honest, and we should have these deep, difficult conversations. But that doesn't help the ruling classes when we actually have productive conversations. So they like to have us angry at each other and fighting. Speaking of which, a video with Kyle from the Brothers Blue. Oh, I have it as Blue Brothers. That might be a typo on my part. I'll need to fix that. Anyways, I think our first chat wasn't bad, but just things deteriorated as relationships do. And here's another one. So yeah, we had a few good conversations. And then I think maybe, well, let's just keep going. Okay, so now at this point, I'm no longer living in the mother-in-law. I'm living in New Hampshire. I spent a short bit of time in New Hampshire. A friend's mother's second husband died during the pandemic madness of just whatever. Anyways, and so I went over there to go help with her homestead, but that was fun because she was a kooky lady and we didn't really do much homesteading. She just played board games with the Muslim neighbor guy who was totally trying. I don't know. It was just weird. It was like I was in a soap opera for a little bit, but this random side character. So I didn't stay in New Hampshire very long, but on depression and dignity, the self-actualization crisis of our culture. So 4 years ago, I was talking about this, and I don't think things have improved much. This video, Who Will Feed the Gestapo? On unity, allyship, and love. I don't really remember, but just the idea of the police, the police are able to make a decent living which is what enables them to be the authoritarian thugs. And that's how the state uh, enforces its power. The more corrupt a society becomes, the higher the wages become for the police. And that's not a fucking exaggeration, because do it right now. If you're watching this, or if you ever do see this, Google how much an entry level Seattle cop makes. It's like 120. That's entry level. That's insane. But the more tyrannical a government becomes, the more they have to incentivize people to sell their fucking souls. Okay. Anyways, let's see. There's nobody watching? I might take a quick break, smoke some marijuana, and grab some more ice. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I just had to get some ice. Smoked a little dabby pen. Whoever just joined, hello. Introduce yourself. Ah. I see you. I see you. Who is there? This is some Woodford Reserve double oaked Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, but because I'm not a real man, I don't drink it straight. I don't drink often. So I'm mixing it with some gingerberry kombucha. And I was just looking at my life progress 4 years ago. Where was I? I was in a lot better shape. God damn. Look at that. Be so small. Now I'm a chunky guy. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, where were we? 4 years ago. This was the sexism and patriarchy of indigenous culture. A reading from Black Elk Speaks, pretty much just talking about how the men hunt and the women gather. And, it's just so funny because I used to be so triggered by the left. I used to just be so triggered by all of the bullshit that they would talk about. They're always like, glorifying indigenous lifestyle and traditions, but not acknowledging that it was generally pretty patriarchal, because they're also anti patriarchy. And so they're just very inconsistent. And that used to trigger me, but not so much anymore because I just ignore them. The physical, mental, and spiritual health with Autumn Smith, NTP. I think she actually is like a full doctor now, or she's like almost done with being a naturopath. She is a wonderful human. I hope she is doing well. I hope 2026 treats her well. That was an interview I did. Okay. The necessity of anger. please stop fueling the culture wars. Uh, yeah, I just used to invest so much energy in that shit. You're better than this, Andrew. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. You're better than this because I refuse to take an experimental medicine. And yeah, anger, agency, and the culture wars, plural, with Joseph. That was a good chat. I hope Joseph has a good 2026. The remoralization of the West. You are not crazy. I used to be such a goober. I mean, I still care about that, I guess, but identifying as the West or part of the West, I don't know if I want to do that because I very much like the West and the East. There's so much value in both. But the Western tradition of science, philosophy, reason, it's pretty cool. It gave us shit like airplanes and dab pens. But it also gave us propaganda and insane taxes to send money to Israel. Oh, dang it. I just said the I word. Anyways, fat shaming, individual revolution, free nutrition coaching. Yeah, I earlier had said I've always wanted to help people. And because we are quite overweight as a country, one of the best things we can do for the country is to just not be such fat fucks. But the trend has only continued to worsen. I think I saw a statistic, something like 80% now of Americans are overweight or obese. It used to be 2/3, and then it got to like 70%, 75. Now it's creeping up to 80%. I I say that as I myself am a fat fuck. I have lost a little bit of weight this year. I've lost like 10 pounds this year. I talked about it all year in my videos. Yeah, I was like, I need to lose some weight, and I did. I'm, losing progress tonight drinking, but one night, whatever. Happy New Year's. Did I really make this video? America has not lived up to its potential, but there is still hope. I did make that video. That's got to be pretty cringe. I mean, I still think there's hope, but I think from 4 years ago, what I see now is much, much different for the country. The dogmatic mind, the battle for your soul and agency. Whatever. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm weird. Oh, the Atlanta shooting. Perspectives from a straight male massage therapist because, yeah, there was a shooting in a massage parlor and just, I really wish. I'm not I don't think prostitution is awesome, but I wish that our culture looked at it differently and we didn't like hide it in the shadows because that's what makes it unsafe for everyone or for most people, I guess. And I don't want to even sound like I'm advocating for it because I'm not, but I'm advocating for creating an environment where if it does happen, it happens in the safest way possible. I don't know. Anyways, simulacra and simulation on nihilism, the chapter. That's a great book. It's an extraordinarily difficult read, and I would be lying if I said I understood all of it. But I believe I understood sort of the main premise, which is just the process of reiterating something over time, with each iteration being slightly different, will yield a result in the future of an iteration that resembles nothing like the initial iteration. That is a simulacra, something that no longer represents what it should, or the way in which it does not actually align with the definition of something, whatever. And That's a big thing that technology has enabled is the iterative process, especially now with AI. Real quick side quest on this stream. AI, so many YouTube channels now are using AI narration, and I fucking hate it. If I hear an AI voice 98 out of 100 times, I am just immediately closing that video because fuck you. It's just awful. It's not what I'm seeking, which is like communication from another human. Excuse me. That is a simulacra of a YouTube video. All of these AI fake things, I hate them. Okay, moving on. Only you can prevent culture war violence. Power to the people. I can't believe. Yes, I can. But I do acknowledge it's pretty cringe. That I kind of now believe that whole underground resistance, underground rebellion, that whole idea is a psyop, unfortunately, because for most of my life, I had a romanticized vision of an eventual organic overturning of the state, V for Vendetta style. And I acknowledge I was way wrong, and that will never happen. And that's fine. That's totally fine. I have since been able to detach mostly from that notion, but I do still possess a relatively romanticized martyr vision or mentality. God, V for Vendetta was just so good. But most people are NPCs. It's quite fascinating that these people will. Anyways, moving on. I don't want to get too critical of people because I love them and I hate them. All right. Dislike this video, you little bitch. Do it. For a brief period of time. I want to watch it. Let's watch it. Is it just me brushing my hair? Okay. Yep, I think it is. That was when the Brothers Blue, I swear to God, were like subscribed to my channel. And literally, it felt like they had notifications on. So they'd immediately get notified when I'd upload and they disliked the video immediately. It wasn't like, oh, the next day they realized Andrew uploaded and they got to dislike his video. It was like, no, minutes, within minutes, they disliked it. And it had to have been them. There's no one else that is that petty and hates me that much. There are people that hate me, but not that much. Okay. Sorry for the sound effects. Where were we? We're close. Okay. Dislike this video. It is easier to destroy than to create. Yeah, that is so very true. It is easy to criticize people who are out trying to do something than it is to just sit on your ass and complain and judge. Yeah, also, just in my experience, I can take apart an engine. Can I put it back together? No. It's a big problem I have. It's easy to take things apart. It's really hard to put them back together properly. Um, this was I found this really cool book, Third World Women and the Politics of Feminism. Um, it, it centers, to use the language of the left, it centers women of the third world and the struggles they have had to deal with historically up to, I think it was written in the 90s. And they've had to deal with so much more shit than American women. And American women are so much more bitter. It's quite interesting. But, anyways, the normalization of exploitative employment, power to the people, whatever. I made that video. Deurbanization and the new earth. I really think we need to move away from these cities. We have the land. That is the thing that the ruling class will not tell you, that they will not admit and acknowledge. We have so much fucking land, but they just don't want to share, and they want to consolidate power and resources. But I believe for humanity's flourishment, we really should de-urbanize as much as possible. And as crazy as this sounds, or as just silly, I love to listen to lectures about history, about philosophy, about psychology. And it seems like the introduction of the city state, big cities, is really where humanity always fucks up. And so we need to figure out how to construct cities without constructing states. We're separating the city state because, if not everybody's meant to live on a farm. Some people will thrive in an apartment urban setting. And although I am a bit hippie, I don't believe we should entirely eliminate cities. Some people will thrive just being an apartment dwelling city person. And we should still have that available for humans. The ideal life is going to look very different for many different types of humans. But in general, we should move away from cities, but not entirely. Avoid absolutes is something that I like to say a lot. Jeff Dunham, get your hand out of Joe Biden. I don't remember why I made that video, but I'm guessing Jeff Dunham supported Joe Biden for some fucking reason. No. Okay. I remember because Joe Biden was saying such silly shit that it made me think of the comedian Jeff Dunham who does puppetry. And I'm just like thinking, because Joe Biden has been called the puppet president, whatever. Humans do not have free will. We have something greater. I'm pretty sure I was just talking about consciousness and conscious will because, there are philosophers that will say we are sort of slaves to our drives, the biological and psychological drives that sort of motivate us to move through existence. And to an extent, I think that's true. But, free will to me implies complete knowledge and awareness and information available. And I don't think humans have that. I think we are very limited, but we have enough information to make a conscious decision. The problem is we often don't. And so free will is maybe not the right word. It's conscious will. It's a pedantic point, but I just like to sometimes sound snooty. Oh my gosh, 3 viewers? Hello. Say hello in the chat so I know who's here. I'm just looking back at the cringe of my channel from the past to the present. The cleansing of the temple. I'm looking at videos talking about where I was at in my life and what the video was about. This one is quite relevant, 4 years later. Pretty much just talking about how the banking cartel really fucks with humanity. And while they may not be at the top of the pyramid, they are probably at the second from the top level. Central fiat banking is really what runs the world. And I know that's going to ruffle some feathers, but ultimately that's the case. Say hello in the chat, god damn it. Excuse my language. I'm drinking a little bit of double oaked Kentucky bourbon whiskey, but I'm mixing it with some gingerberry. Happy New Year's Eve to you. 2026 is going to be a fantastic fucking year. 2025 was a pretty good year. 2026 is going to be even better. Okay. Men and women are different. A reading of Jung on the animus. I don't want to get into that, but I mean, yeah, men and women are different. Kind of fucking wild that we're having this conversation in such a technologically advanced society. But anyways, okay, human rights versus human responsibilities, healthcare edition. It's just universal healthcare is this really popular talking point among progressives, and yet nobody talks about the responsibility one has. If society has a responsibility to you, you should have a responsibility to society. And that responsibility in regards to universal healthcare is don't be a fat fuck. Because being a fat fuck is the fastest way to damage your health. And I say that as compassionately as I can. If you just now are tuning in, you missed out. I'm offering free nutrition coaching for anyone who's interested. Still no comments, but I see that there are viewers. Y'all are weird lurkers. Without sacrifice, there is no triumph. Living with integrity. Oh my gosh, that's pretty cringe. I acknowledge that's cringe. I was really struggling, and at that point in my life, I don't think I was, I was on the path, but I had a long way to go still. So me talking about integrity back then is comical, but we all start somewhere. And so I need to give myself the same compassion I should give other people. That's the hard thing. Self-compassion. Holy cow. It is so hard to be compassionate towards yourself because, at the same time, you need to hold yourself accountable. But it's like you also don't want to be too hard on yourself. Being a human's weird. My first reaction video, I reacted to a Brothers Blue, whatever. I don't want to give energy to that whole thing. So I'm just gonna. Is that an egregore? Not at this point. Anecdotal proof. There's a difference between men and women. Nope, not gonna get into that. Varieties of psychohistory, abuse of children throughout history. That was a difficult chapter to read because it really just gave me a bleak and dark look at the history of humanity and how, each generation has just sort of really fucked up the next generation. And so when we in the spiritual community talk about, generational trauma stops with us, I get it from a historical perspective because historically speaking, there has been so much trauma passed down from generation to generation. And I'm talking just about the average person. We're not even getting into what happens to the elites. very true story in this book. In this chapter, they talk about one of the kings, King Louis or Philip III, whatever. One of the kings of Britain was almost every day given like an enema, like as a young child, getting things put up his butt, and he was molested, and it was not uncommon for molestation to occur and for psychosexual programming to happen. Now we're getting into like modern day MK Ultra stuff, but this has roots in history, which is more of the concerning part, but also good that we're raising light to it. Varieties of Psychohistory. If you can find yourself a copy of that book, I would highly recommend it. It's one of those obscure sort of psychology texts that I don't know if you could find on Amazon at any point, but you should check it out. And on that note, old texts, there's value in old texts. Yes, we learn things as time progresses, but also propagandists have time to alter narratives as time progresses as well. And so it's really good to sort of, you know, utilize texts from different decades and see the trajectory of a narrative and how it is shaped and formed over time. Speaking of simulation and simulacrum from earlier. Okay, 4 years ago, I had my interview with the wonderful, just one of the most intelligent, one of the just most brilliant, beautiful, amazing humans I've ever got to interact with, the official Christian Watson. Please go check out his channel.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Christian Watson,
God, he's such
who
a
has
fucking
been
awesome
so
person.
kind as to answer a few questions about philosophy.
Go check out his channel, the official Christian Watson, and I just boomered this. I had a good thing going. I'm actually a millennial, but I have the technical savvy of a boomer. I love you, Christian. I hope 2026. I know 2026 is going to be good for you, brother. I fucking know it. Oh man, we are gonna manifest so many good things for you. You don't even know it yet, but it's gonna happen. The cool thing about Christian, I just want to say real quick, I'm a nobody YouTuber, and Christian's, I would say, a mid-level YouTuber. From 4 years to now, he still texts me back. That is so rare. He is one of the realest humans ever. Because YouTube, so many YouTubers will tell you about how fake this shit is. And I'm a small channel, but I've been around. I've got friends. I've got connections. It's really fucking fake. So when there's a real YouTuber out there, I gotta give him credit. Christian is the man. I love you, brother. More anger. That has been a huge theme that I've had to address over the last 4 years. Shit, I've been streaming for an hour. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we got an hour before midnight on the East Coast. That's my goal. I just wanted to make it to East Coast midnight, not West Coast midnight. I'll be in bed before West Coast midnight. Anger, riots, chaos. So over the last 4 years, I've really made a lot of progress. I used to have so much anger, and I still do, as I said, but you gotta learn to transmute that shit. That means like to change the shape of it, to redirect it. And a call for unity. The word solidarity is a good word. The left, they're very good with language. I give them that. The progressives, the goddamn fucking commies, they're really good with language. I give them that because solidarity is a great word. And that's one of, their sort of bromide words. But it's what human doesn't want unity? Because let's take unity to the next level. Let's not look at unity from a just a purely social cohesion perspective, but from a metaphysical or universal or divine perspective. Unity is reconnection with source, which is the most beautiful thing that you can experience, because source quite literally is the origin of whatever this construct is, whether it be a demiurgic sort of material realm. It still comes from the divine, so even if Earth, as they say, is a prison planet, which I don't agree with, if we are able to eventually reconnect with source, that is the dream. So that word unity is such a good word. Unity with source. If you've ever done psychedelics, you have a hint of what that would feel like. I believe that you get, you somewhat close. It's you'll never get quite close in this incarnation. But getting somewhat close to the comprehension of unity with source is such a phenomenal fucking feeling. It is a divine and numinous experience. And I highly recommend, if you are at a place in your life where you can cultivate a safe setting, setting to participate in psychedelic experiences, you should. But if you're not able to get to a safe set in the setting, don't do it. That's just my 2 cents. I'm a fucking nobody, though. And that's fine. Emotions, public policy, stoicism. Rights come with responsibilities. Yeah, I was still in this notion of like, we can be citizens and we should be citizens and we should have these rights. And I know right now, natural law is really popular. And I mean, it's kind of cool. It's very cool. Let me not undersell it. Let me communicate more properly my lack of understanding, but more so lack of confidence that natural law is the best argument path. That's where I'm at, because to me, it feels like you're trying to still create divine law, but doing so from an emotional place. The cool thing about philosophy, or rather, what a lot of philosophers believe is cool, is when you can create something that is universalizable. And so natural law, I'm getting a little sideways. Let me see if I can redirect. It's maybe not provable, I guess. That's more of where I was trying to go, is to be able to prove something, with not mathematics necessarily, but the rules of the logic that, sort of navigate or correspond is a better word with mathematics. I'm trying to beat around the bush. I'm going to move on. I'm sorry. I still see that there's somebody watching, but you're not telling me who you are. It's creepy, but I'm going to roll with it. Okay. The guilt of privilege, projection. See that unity word again. I was using that word a lot 4 years ago. The guilt of privilege. Yeah, I think a lot of people who have experienced significant privileges and advantages in their life, speaking from specifically living in the Seattle area, instead of acknowledging that they have benefited, they project out onto other people, this whole straight white men are the devil sort of mentality, and then white privilege in general. Um, the people pushing that stuff are the people who have experienced the most privilege. And so it's just ironic that they're trying to speak for like a working class dude whose body fucking hurts at the end of the day and whose bank account is barely above water. Where's his fucking privilege? His kids need braces and they don't know how his family's going to pay for it. God, I feel so bad for families. Like, man, shit is fucked right now. Like, for most people, black, white, yellow, red. I know you're not supposed to use those latter and former colors, but fuck it. I'm a little buzzed and I'm a small channel. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Purple people, everybody's fucking struggling right now. Except for the bankers. Free nutrition coaching. I already mentioned that. Meta motivation. I'm a hypocrite. I am a hypocrite. I am very much a hypocrite. And I'm at this weird place in life where I acknowledge that I'm a hypocrite and I acknowledge I could be doing better and I acknowledge I should be doing better. But I'm also very compassionate with myself right now with where I'm at. It's a really cool place to be able to tell yourself you should be doing better, but it's okay. Like, that's a good place to be. I'm not beating myself up, but I am trying to push myself. How do we cultivate that in people? How did I cultivate that? I don't know. Let's keep watching. This is 4 years ago. We got a long ways to go, but we got an hour to kill. Okay. 3 people. Somebody say something in the chat, please. Okay. Censorship, cognitive dissonance, and sheep. Oh man, there was a point where I was just so fucking fed up with people that I stopped even engaging in dialogue and I just started making sheep noises at them. If they would say something stupid, I would just be like, bah. And I know that seems crazy, but with all of the information available today, do you still feel the same way you felt 4 years ago during the pandemic? I would venture to guess most people would honestly answer no. There was a small group of us trying to speak up. And the thing is, you ostracized us so much and so hard. But if you just show a little humility, maybe apologize. I don't think I've got one fucking apology. But you know what? If someone showed just a tad bit of humility and apologized, or maybe not even apologized, maybe they weren't someone who wronged me, but maybe they were someone who was still vocal, supporting the psyop. If one person would just be like, hey, I appreciate the fact that you spoke up. I see now that I was wrong, and it must have been hard for you. If one person would say that to me, oh man, I'd be happy. I mean, I'm still pretty happy, but it would mean a lot because it was tough 4 years ago. It was tough, and I'll get over it eventually, but apparently I'm not fully over it because here I am still complaining about it. More Buckminster Fuller. Who will protect the village? Police and community reform are needed. Excuse me. Yeah. Because while I am anti-government, I still believe the community needs protected. Psychohistory, a great book. If you're just tuning in, I already talked about it. You should check out the book. It's just literally called The Varieties of Psychohistory. Bitch, Don't Kill My Vibe. Shirt idea, Tommy Pickles. If you're a Rugrats fan, you'll know. De-radicalizing rightists. Radical centrism in action. Gosh, what was going on 4 years ago where I was like, I mean, yeah, rightists and leftists are both radical, but
What's good? What's good? In my last video, bitch, don't kill this vibe, I mentioned I wanted to discuss some YouTube interactions I've recently had. I love interacting with people on YouTube and social media because it's like a mini sociological study, but then also an opportunity to meet a diverse group of people and minds. Technology is very wonderful, as well as really crappy. Yin and yang.
I'm
Double-edged
kind of
sword, all that
losing
crap.
my attention span. I'm gonna
If I'm
fast
an
forward.
asshole, I'm sorry. I really like this username, a daily llama. I heard similar things all last year and in November, yet here we are. No, the socialists are winning. I got to get my reply in at Coffee Fresh. I just said I hope you have a good day.
All right, this
Stay
is really
blessed.
boring. I'm really sorry you had to deal with that. And now we got to go back, and then we got to hit all this, and we got to scroll to where we were. But if you're watching this, you are not at a New Year's party, so you are just like me at home. Well, I'm not at home, but I'm somewhere comfortable. Okay. Let's see. Where were we? Who will protect the village? Psychohistory, whatever, rightists. World Hug Thy Neighbor Day. Something may have happened where I was like, hey, let's go hug each other, but that didn't happen. The world could use more hugs. The loss of nuance, the difference between biological sex and socially whatever. I don't want to get into that. Mental Health Awareness Month. Healing ancestral trauma. Earlier, I'd used the term generational trauma, pretty much the same thing. It's just been really, we have not had a single generation that has been raised well. And when I say raised well, I mean without a majority of them being abused psychologically, physically, sexually, spiritually, in some capacity. Spiritual abuse. I feel really bad for gay kids who grow up in religious households. Man, that's got to be shitty. That's to me like spiritual abuse. But, physical abuse, sexual abuse, humanity, like humans, we're not really that civilized as creatures. We have this fantastical technology, but what is that worth if we're socially and spiritually inept? It's worth nothing to the average human, but everything to the technocratic overlords. Okay. More psychohistory to double down or open your mind. So I'm back in my van at this point, it looks like. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Okay, 4 years ago, where were we? Okay. Yeah, so then I'm back in the camper van for a little while. So I was in New Hampshire for a bit. And now this setting here, where you see these cool curtains, this is when I was living in an RV in my friend's backyard. Pitbull clickbait. What's good? What's good? Okay, so testing. 1, 2, testing. Hello, there we go. Okay. Hello. Good morning, Vietnam. Sorry. God, I am such a goober. But that was my goober. He passed. He was the best dog ever.
Burr, 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 burr. Okay. Videos. Oldest. Oh, god damn it. I'm boomerang it. I'm sorry. Hello? I see fucking people. It says that there are people. Someone please just type something in the comments, please. Okay. So I'm living in an RV in my friend's backyard. Oh man, open mic in Seattle. That okay, that's better. I have to go pee. So I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna turn this 4-minute video on. I think the volume's sketchy, but for a brief period in time, I tried to do stand-up comedy, but it wasn't because I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. It was just because I was fucking just so fed up with all of the pandemic bullshit that I decided I'm going to go into the heart of the belly of the beast and I'm going to go at them directly. So I'm going to play this video while I go pee. I'll be right back. Watch this video. Thank you.
Flying Moose.
Yeah, do you want me to hold it?
7 p.m.
If you would,
Program
yeah,
on this.
totally, man.
They even had people walk in and I see some familiar faces. We have some new faces. I just want to give a shout out to our final person tonight, Ashley Monroe. Just in case some of y'all aren't able to stick around, this is Ashley Monroe. She came all the way down from Olympia. This is her first night. She got a babysitter to be here. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. All right, let's keep this thing going. I got some written here so I could pronounce this gentleman's name correctly. Andrew Lordson. You don't need to read this to me. There you go.
If you let one joke I tell, it'll make my whole it'll make your whole oh god damn.
This is how he says.
Woo! Woo! You calm down.
Okay. It's good. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
I'm new to this. So when we warm up, I'm not used to having phallic objects this close to my face.
Good joke.
Thank you. So I didn't grow up actually wanting to be a stand-up comedian. This is a true story. I have a finance degree. I actually wanted to be a banker. But then I learned that they're all criminals, and I was like, shit, I need a new plan. Thank you.
Sorry.
Good joke.
Okay. And so I was talking to my therapist, trying to figure out what I could do next. And she interrupts me in the middle of a sentence and says, "You know what, Andrew? You're kind of funny." And my first thought was like, rude. I'm just pouring my heart out to you. And my second thought was, damn, I know the economy is tight, but like, everybody's working for tips now? Shit, I should have just went to the strip club. At least I get to see some boobs.
Great material. Great
Who else
material.
doing some therapy? Who else? Is Woo! Yes, okay. So one of the other reasons I'm going to therapy is because there's just so much going on in the world that I'm trying to like compartmentalize the insanity. And there's one thing I've been seeing in the social media spheres that I've been struggling with. And that is this idea that there's no difference between men and women. And I'm not saying one is inferior or superior, but I've done some research. I'm not a scientist, finance degree, but just let's do a thought experiment. Let's go there. 5 angry, horny dudes kidnap me at gunpoint and tell me I have to make them come, or else they're going to kill me. Now, I've never touched another man's dick, let alone sucked a cock, but I'm pretty sure I could get the job done. I would need a lot more therapy, don't get me wrong. But men is fucking easy. Let's just be honest. But
Facts.
do I need to tell the rest of the joke? Let's reverse the scenario a little bit. 5 angry, horny women kidnap me, put me at gunpoint, and tell me that I have to make them all come, or else they're going to kill me. I'm just gonna get on my knees and just ask for the bullet to save myself the shame of failing. Because I'm pretty sure on my best day, maybe 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, but I'm confident it could not be 5 out of 5. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I got a lot of shit for that joke, actually. Because, you know, sexual assault is not funny. And I get that. I'm not trying to make sexual assault funny. But yeah, telling that joke in Seattle was not, yeah. Anyways, okay. I got a lot of shit for that joke. But I'm still fucking glad I did it. Okay. Yeah, no, doing stand-up comedy in Seattle is shitty. They literally now have, well, I haven't done it in years, I guess, but they used to have a sign-up sheet, and on the sign-up sheet it would say things like certain things you couldn't talk about. So no like racist jokes, no sexist jokes. Oh my gosh. It says there are still people watching. I don't believe it at this point. These are bots. Y'all are bots. Okay. Videos. What time is it? 8:30. It is almost midnight. East Coast time. And although I'm on the West Coast, I just care about you people on the East Coast because I'm going to go to bed when you go to bed. We were at like, what, 4 years ago? Something like that. God
Anyway.
damn it. There we go. Okay. I ate pho today. So I'm drinking alcohol and oh my gosh, Christian Watson. Happy New Year's to you. If you just tuned in, I literally spent like 5 minutes talking about how much I love you. So you'll have to rewind or whatnot, or just hello, thank you. Oh, okay. Let me show that. Okay. Happy New Year's, sir. Yeah, I'm just reviewing my channel, and you know, your interview came up, and I just gushed about how much I love you, and so it's really cool. I even commented. I was like talking about how you still text me back after 4 years, you know, and so I'm like an obscure nobody, but you're a real human, so you like actually care. That's so cool that you stopped by. Thank you. Oh my gosh, Christian's the best. Let's see. Yeah, it was like, hold on. Yeah, right there. There's your pretty face. There is your pretty face, Christian. Oh man, that is cool. I'm really glad you stopped by. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yep. See, so if anybody sees this, Christian is the real deal. So you all need to go check him out. Okay. Oh man, 2026 is going to be such a good year. I told you. I knew it. So open mic, that's what I just showed. Going into Seattle for those people. Okay, Bootlickers and Agent Smith. I yell in that video. That's why it says watch your ears. And yeah, no, that was not cool.
like just a display of me losing my shit. Not good. I acknowledge that. That was me. I don't run from that. But when you think about what we were going through 4 years ago, the fake plague, as I call it, and the fact that so few people were speaking up, I actually don't judge myself too harshly on it. Because, yeah, we were being gaslit and the psyop was major. Okay. There, that's a little better. I keep hitting the volume button with one of my hands. Andrew Yang, Too Little Too Late. I actually liked him. I liked him. I was an idiot. I get it. I acknowledge I was an idiot. I still am, but I'm less of an idiot. Straw Women and Weakness. I don't remember that video, but it's pretty good, I'm pretty sure, because, playing off Straw Man. But anyways, okay. Maps of Memeing. Jordan Peterson, before he went off the deep end, was a cool character. And, he wrote the book Maps of Meaning. I never actually read the book, but I listened to his lectures close enough. I liked him. And so I was just trying to play off of the book title. But memes are so cool because they can communicate such a powerful message in such an easy to comprehend fashion, and often a funny thing. Memes are just the best. Find the others. That was a hashtag that was popular for a while, and it's still kind of popular, but that idea for a long time, and even at this current moment, still drives me to find other people who want to seek truth, seek knowledge, seek wisdom, seek justice, sort of these virtuous end goals. There are so few people who pursue anything resembling any level of depth anymore. And it was part of the counterculture psyop that, pulled me in. I think everything's a psyop pretty much, right? But I like the conscious community, the spiritual community. I think they're the closest, or they're the least wrong, maybe. And so Find the Others, I think, comes from like Timothy Leary and the countercultural movement that started in the 60s. That was probably partially created by or adjacent to MK Ultra. And so I acknowledge that's part of it. And so earlier when I had mentioned the use of psychedelic drugs, really you need to do so in the right way. And so the terms set and setting, it really matters. You need to be in a space physically, literally, like in a house that you feel comfortable in, or an apartment or somewhere you feel comfortable. But then you also need to be mentally prepared for the journey, because it is a fucking journey. But if you can push through, and if you have a really good, like, transcendental psychedelic experience, it can truly change for the better the trajectory of your life. And so I am always going to be a huge advocate of the appropriate use of psychedelics, even though maybe MK Ultra also used them. Just because a bad organization used something doesn't mean the item itself is inherently bad. That'd be like saying the CIA drinks water. Well, yes, they do, but doesn't make water bad. But fuck the CIA. Don't butt fuck them. They'd like that. Okay. We're still only 4 years ago. I have been lollygagging on this stream. We got 4 years of content to get through. Leftist hypocrisy and censorship. Don't need to get into that. That's pretty obvious. A message to the universe. My spiritual brothers and sisters. Who the fuck was I to have any message? I'm nobody. We're going to ignore that. More maps of meaning. Why the communists hate the family unit. We're not going to get into that. Interview with
Pleiadian channeler Soma Ara. You know what? I am very mixed on channelers, but I will say that something comes through some of these people and you can see it. You can even see it in this interview where we're kind of flowing and we're vibing, and then all of a sudden, there's a shift in Soma's energy, and you can see that like the whatever was being transmitted, like had withdrawn, like it was like done, and there's this abrupt transition, and I at the time didn't fully understand it, but now I totally get it, and it was like okay, we're done when it's I don't know how I feel about channelers, but I try really hard to be open-minded. And so I'm really glad that we had that conversation. I hope 2026 is good for her and I should reach out in all honesty. Maybe we'll talk again. It'll be like the first talk in 5 years. Okay. How YouTube radicalization happens, take the red pill. Yeah, radicalization happens, I believe, in probably all of the formats. Most everything is a psyop, as I keep saying. And so, really, the key is to learn how to exist within these sort of infrastructures without allowing them to permeate our psyche too much. Because I'm on YouTube right now, which is a mechanism of propaganda, but at the same time, it's double-edged sword of sorts, maybe the wrong metaphor. I am slightly buzzed. It is New Year's Eve. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're being safe. I hope you're having fun. Okay, the moms are mad. I think that was like all the sexual books in children's schools, and nothing has changed in the last 4 years. It's only gotten worse. Man, what is it with progressives and just like weird sexual shit throughout history? Won't get into that right now. And I mean, like I want to be a sex positive person, but they take it to a level that just goes beyond, in my opinion. But I'm nobody, so it doesn't matter. I need to stop saying that. I'm not trying to put myself down. I'm comfortable being a nobody. Uh, if I were to win the lottery, I would not want any attention. I would just want to be able to have my family and invest in my community and just live a decent life. Like I would buy a tractor and a bunch of land. That's what I would do if I won the lottery. Okay. Leftists gonna leftist with Progressive Kyle from Brothers Blue. I think this is where things really went sour with us because I believe it was right after January 6th and I went off on him. And yeah, I acknowledge that I went off on him, but just to call January 6th an insurrection is quite silly, especially after what we had already seen. And I don't want to get too worked up into it, but that's where I was 4 years ago. Okay. To my lost friends, it's not too late. Yeah, okay. Let's get heavy for a minute. I need a drink refill actually while I'm at it. So, I'm going to grab a drink refill. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, I've got some ice. Let me see. This bottle was brand new when I started, and I haven't even really made a dent. I don't drink often, so I get pretty fucked up when I do pretty quick. We'll do extra kombucha so this lasts longer. All right, I'll take this comment off the screen. But man, Christian's just such a cool character. I'm so blessed. Okay, where was I? To my lost friends. It's not too late. This sucks. Because this was right before the experimental jabs really became mainstream. And I was trying to tell people, look, you don't need it. It's been a year already, and you're fine. But the psyops, the propaganda, it was strong. It was powerful. I think I remember Biden saying something about a year of death or like a winter of death or something like that. There was a winter where they were really trying to fearmonger people. And it worked. So many people got it. And then, oh, look, there's a spike in turbo cancers and autoimmune diseases and all kinds of other things. So, for a lot of people, it's not that it was not too late. It's just that they were not willing to listen. And it sucks. One of my absolute true story, and I don't know if his wife had a jab or not, but very shortly after this, maybe 6 months to a year after I made this video, one of my absolute favorite YouTubers, Camping with Steve, his wife died. And it was literally, he said they went to bed, everyone was fine. He woke up and she was dead. And this guy, you know, some people you can just look at them and you can see struggle, but you can also see sincerity and authenticity and love. And Steve, in his eyes before his wife passed, you could see all of that. You could see he had struggled, but you could also see that he was a good soul in his journey. Like his YouTube channel, you know, he was very similar to mine. He was living in a camper, you know, like hadn't gone to school yet. He went to trade school, and then over the years he got a job and he met beautiful wife, as he called her. And so to watch that, because I watched him before he got married, and to watch him just grow into the man that he should have been, and to see him treat her so well, you know, just beautiful wife, this and beautiful. It was always beautiful wife. That's what he called her. He loved her, and you could tell. And she fucking died. And I don't know if it's but like, it's not often that a healthy 40-year-old woman goes to bed and just fucking dies. And so I don't know. And I don't ever want to ask him. You know, I don't want him to have to think about it. I just want him to heal as best as he can. But the man has been through so much. Anyways, sorry, but Camping with Steve is just. And if you're ever watching this, you might know someone that maybe had a health episode that you're like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? It's probably, anyways, not going to go there. I'm going to move on. 4 years ago, why we must fight the culture wars. Yes, you. Yeah, I disagree with myself from 4 years ago here. Maybe I don't disagree, but maybe I disagree in
tactics or techniques. But I don't think we should be fighting the culture wars. Or rather, we should be always raising awareness to the fact that the culture wars are a distraction. This video, Dear Antifa, let's talk. 5,500 views. That was a cool little period 3 years ago. Portland riots, Seattle Chaz and Chop. Just, the summer of love, George Floyd protests. I used to think, gosh, it's like, and as I say this now, I don't want to come across as defeated or as a defeatist, but I don't want to seem like a gatekeeper either. So it's this balance of knowing that so few people are ready for awakening or ascension, and yet you still have to have compassion and love and patience for these people. It's so hard. But that's the lesson, is that like from 4 years ago or 3 years ago, now we're at 3 years ago to now, I don't put energy into trying to reach the masses, I guess, because most of the masses are not going to be ready for any sort of message that someone like me would have. Who the fuck am I? But my message is the same message that many other spiritual warriors are pushing. And so I'm not a unique person pushing a unique message. I'm one of many, but not one of the masses. And so growing past the desire to have mass impact has been awesome. And it's also been an exercise in ego. Because why does mass attention matter? The only reason it matters, I guess, is like ego. And to this day, I can tell you that the part of me that sees how big the problem is drawn to the idea of how much reward there would be in successfully addressing the big problem. But there's no addressing the big problem as an individual. It will only ever be done as a collective of awakened and enlightened warriors who spend lifetimes on this fucking journey, engaging in this goddamn battle. Crucial cultural conversations. How to combat the culture wars. I don't know. Don't participate. That's how. Adam Weinstein, a good bro of mine, just got engaged. I really hope 2026 is great for you, brother. I miss you. And that's my own fault for being a reclusive bitch. But we all have our journeys, and you're on yours now. Don't care about Jordan Peterson. Don't care about Strawman. How do we disagree? How do we agree to disagree? Orwell called it. I don't even know. Everything is all right. A conversation on cultural Marxism. You know, I don't think that I was wrong for making that video, but I do think that, and this is actually something I've been struggling with lately, is that I've been, when I say I bought land, I still have a loan, so I need to pay it off. But, there are 5 acres with my name on it as soon as I get it paid off. I could go live there now if I wanted, but it won't feel real until it's paid off. There are 5 acres to my name. And I just want to go off grid, and my idea of resistance and rebellion is actually just unplugging from the system. And is that a cope instead of fighting the battle? Am I withdrawing? I don't think I am, but I still challenge myself on that. Maybe that's not the answer. I don't know. I feel like it's the answer, but anyways, okay. Man-made climate change is real. Chemtrail remix. Oh, I'm sorry. The dog I'm dog sitting is currently being very well. I'm dog sitting 2 dogs. Let me see if I can get him in the picture. Moose. He's being needy. He needs some attention. Okay, this is let's see. Hold on. There we go. Moose, you're a good boy. You're a good boy, Moose. Is it bedtime? Is it bedtime? Are we supposed to go to bed now? You got a potty? Okay. He's a good boy. Certified 10 out of 10 good boy. And that's Stormy. She is kind of a bitch, but I still like her. Okay. Let's wrap this fucking shit up. It's almost midnight, East Coast time. Oh man. This is interesting. Not everything is a psyop, but most things are. I actually have a shirt. The shirt I'm wearing right now, the shirt that's on my website that'll be in the description. It just doesn't feel like 2 years ago I had that idea. It feels way more recent than that. It looks like that is that the New Hampshire room? That doesn't look like the New Hampshire room. Where was I 2 years ago? This is interesting in that, like, because my life, I remember over the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've had different bouts of homelessness and living in a van. And so 2 years ago, I was renting a room for $1,000 a month. It was not the greatest of deals, but not the worst. So that's where I was. It's just, yeah. That I just made that shirt this year, but 2 years ago is when the idea hit. It took me a while to put everything together. But we don't have any more viewers. It's almost midnight. Let's just push through for a little bit more. I'm a little buzzed, to be honest. Oh, yes, sir. Moose is being really needy. He probably needs to go out. Let me just see if there's anything else good for the time being. So 2 years ago. Do you have to go outside? Moose might have to go outside. I might just end the stream here. Maybe we'll do another one. Thank you, Christian, for stopping by. Thank you, everyone who may or may not have watched. Much love, y'all.